All right. So, first of all, I want to start off by saying I am not picking on this particular person in any way, shape, or form. I'm just bringing some things to light that you may be experiencing, and I'm using this person to compare those experiences with. Obviously, the title of this episode is Why Kim Kardashian Cannot Say No. And what I mean, not just to, I'm not saying she can't say no to family or friends, because obviously she can. I'm saying to work, jobs, opportunities. I watched an episode where her mom, Chris, was very concerned about burnout. She's like, if you don't stop, if you don't slow down, if you don't learn to say no, I'm worried about your health. I'm worried about burnout. And Kim was like, I know I need to stop, but I can't. And so when I was watching that episode, it got me thinking, why? You know, she's built this beauty empire. She's got plenty of money, plenty of all the things that so many people desire. Why can't she say no? And if you go back into the history of Kim and what her goals were and still are, the only thing she ever wanted to be was famous. That was it. From the very get-go, from day one, since she was a preteen, all she wanted was to be famous. And she did everything that she could in order to achieve that. When she was old enough, there's even a video of her at like 12 years old saying, someday you're going to know who I am, right? So make sure that you save this, and because I'm going to be famous one day at like 12. She got a job as an entrepreneur. She started her own business as a celebrity organizer, home organizer, clothing closet organizer. I think is what it was, celebrity closet organizer. And one of the first jobs that she ever took for a celebrity was with Paris Hilton. And they became fast friends, like immediately. The first time Kim showed up at Paris's house, I think, and don't quote me on that, but I believe how the story went was Kim borrowed someone's Bentley. I think it might have been her boyfriend at the time. Borrowed his Bentley and showed up at Paris Hilton's house because her mentality is I don't need to be below Paris. I need to be equal to her. So she showed up at Paris's home in a Bentley and immediately had already established this identity for herself as I am your equal. And because of that, they became fast friends and they started hanging out, and Paris was showing her the ropes and taking her out to parties and meeting people, and the paparazzi was everywhere. And even though Kim wasn't in some of these early photos with Paris, because the paparazzi had no idea who Kim Kardashian was at that time, she would photobomb all of Paris's photos. You could always see Kim in the background somewhere. And that was intentional because her goal, again, was to become famous. And so knowing the ultimate goal was fame, and everything that she did was in alignment with that goal, it manifested. So as an adult, having all the things that she has, all the fame, all the fortune, all the things, why is it that she can't slow down? Why is it that she still cannot say no to opportunities? And the reason is this, is because she has a deep fear about becoming irrelevant, losing her fame. That's why she can't say no. She has and I know that this is what the issue is. She feels like if she slows down and misses out on opportunities, that her relevance will decline and she will lose the very thing that she has worked her whole life to get to, fame. So why is it so important to remain relevant and famous? What is the deeper meaning behind that? What is the root cause of that? for everyone, including you and myself, whenever we're looking for attention, it's so that we can feel important. We want to feel important. We want to feel like we matter. We want to feel significant. And that in itself is the root driving force behind the fame that Kim has sought her whole life. She wants to be in front of you, and she wants to be praised and loved and important and significant, like her life matters. Now, with that said, she has taken things to a whole new level. She did an interview with Variety magazine, her and her sisters and her mom, and they were talking about business success. Kardashians had built a huge empire. And so they were interviewing the family on what it takes to build and maintain a successful business. And Kim caught some huge backlash over what she said. She basically said, you need to get off your ass and work. And she said, it seems like nobody wants to work anymore. And oh my God, the backlash that she received from that. Let me just give you a little bit of an insight as to what some people had said. Okay. So her quote was, I have the best advice for women in business. Get your fucking ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days. Some of the responses from Soledad O'Brien, if you know who that is, she said, also, be born rich really helps. False statement. Somebody named Manish Boy. If there's one thing that resonates with normal people, it's being told to work harder by people who were born rich. Another false perspective. So just those two comments alone, these are all tweets, by the way, shows you the mentality of the majority of the people that are out there. They look at the Kardashians of what they have currently, and they know the backstory that Kim's father was Robert Kardashian, a very famous attorney in Los Angeles, and was part of the O.J. Simpson team before him and Kris got a divorce, and then Robert eventually passed away of cancer. But people think that these kids were born rich. And although it may have looked like that in the beginning because their dad was very wealthy, Kris wasn't working. Kris was a housewife and a mom while Robert was bringing in all the money, and he was wealthy and prestigious in LA. But when they got a divorce, what people don't realize is that they divorced when the girls were very young. And when they divorced, Kris had asked for like $30-something thousand a month in child support, which Robert could afford. He was rich. But because of the situation that caused the divorce, he battled against her, and ultimately they settled on $4,000 a month in child support. What do they call it? When you get money after a divorce to take care of you until you get married again, whatever that word is, it starts with an M. I'm drawing a blank right now. I apologize. But that $4,000 a month was just in child support to take care of 3 girls, Kim, Khloe, and Kourtney. So that's all that Kris Kardashian / now Jenner had, was $4,000 to take care of those 3 kids and herself. Okay. After the divorce was final and Kris met Bruce Jenner through a mutual friend, this was a decade or so after Bruce Jenner won the Olympic gold medal as the world's greatest athlete. And he had become irrelevant, and his career had declined so much that when he met Kris Jenner, he had $200 in his bank account. So here are 2 people and 3 kids, because actually Bruce had more kids. I'm sure he was paying child support to Linda Thompson, his ex-wife, because they had a couple of boys, Brody Jenner and his brother. And he had $200 in his bank account, and Kris was getting $4,000 a month in child support. And so you cannot use the excuse that these girls were born rich. You cannot look at the perception and the comments of other people where they say, if there's one thing that resonates with normal people, it's being told to work harder by people who were born rich. And even Soledad O'Brien, also be born rich really helps. They didn't have wealth. These girls didn't, at that age, very young. Let me look at how old they were. How old was Kim Kardashian when her parents divorced? Let's see. 10 years old. Kim Kardashian was 10 years old when her parents divorced. So even though she was born into wealth, at 10, they didn't have a pot to piss in. Literally. They created the Kardashian empire thanks to Kris Kardashian. And then she taught and was the manager of those girls, the momager, they call her. And they created an empire. You have to be careful of what you think is the truth and what is the truth. You got to do a little bit of research, not just have a knee-jerk reaction to something that triggers you, right? Because that's all that was. And on a side note, I saw a great quote by Drake that said, jealousy is just love and hate at the same time. So there were people that are getting triggered by what Kim has said, and they love her and what she has and what she's created, and they hate her because they aren't doing the same thing. So there's that combination of love and hate equals jealousy. And that is what's triggering most people when they read or when they see this interview. I'm going to play the interview for you in just a minute so that you can see it, because it's a really interesting interview. So here's the point to all of this, is that the reason why we seek attention and we have a tendency to people please and not be able to say no is because of the feeling that we think we will get if we say no. In other words, people will think I'm selfish. People will think I'm an ass. They're not going to like me. They're not going to accept me. And what I desire more is acceptance and praise and a sense of importance that I matter. That's why Kim can't say no. She's so afraid she's going to lose everything that she's worked so hard for, that she will become irrelevant. And the crazy part about this is that she is bringing up her kids in her footsteps. She's already training them to take over the dynasty. When Kris passes away, where none of us are getting out of this life alive, when Kris passes away, who's going to be at the helm of this empire that they've created? Who's got to keep it going? Who's got to keep it going when Kim or Khloe or Kourtney pass of old age? The kids. The empire continues. So let me play this interview for you. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here. I'm going to play the interview. It's about 1.5 minutes long. And I think it would just be good for you guys to watch this, okay?
We're going to turn now to an ABC News exclusive interview with Kim Kardashian. I was in Calabasas on Friday and had a chance to sit down with the family ahead of the premiere of their new Hulu show, The Kardashians.
I have the best advice for women in business. Get your up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days.
That's so true.
You have to surround yourself with people that want to work.
Many weighing in online, calling out the privilege they say may have helped the Skims founder's success. The statement even mentioned last night at the Oscars.
And this is from a quote from Kim Kardashian. Work harder.
That's right.
That's what we need you to do.
In a new sit-down, Kardashian addresses the controversy. When you made the recent statement about women in business, and it got a lot of backlash.
It did,
and
yeah.
saying, you know, go to work, get up and go to work. What did you mean by that? And what do you want to say now about it?
Well, that statement that I said was without questions and conversation around it. And it became a soundbite really with no context. And that soundbite, I came off of the notion and the question right before, which was, after 20 years of being in the business, you're famous for being famous. And my whole tone and attitude changed with the previous question that went into that question about what advice would you give to women? And the advice that I would give is just that having a social media presence and being on a reality show does not mean overnight success. And you have to really work hard to get there, even if it might seem like it's easy and that you can build a really successful business off of social media. And you can if you put in a lot of hard work. And it wasn't a blanket statement towards women or to feel like I don't respect the work or think that they don't work hard. I know that they do. That was taken out of context, but I'm really sorry if it was received that way.
Apologize for that comment. And it's just one of the many topics I discussed with Kim, Courtney, Khloe, and their mother, Kris Jenner. It's all part of a special that will air next Wednesday, April 6th at 8 p.m. Eastern here on ABC. Again, it's ahead of their new Hulu show, The Kardashians.
So, what do you think about that? Do you understand that the mindset of people in general, people in general, is that we have a tendency to jump to conclusions really quick? Not just, and I'm not just saying about other people, about ourselves as well. We have a tendency to jump to conclusions about ourselves. And what I mean by that is if I get triggered by that statement that she made, get off your ass and go to work, and there's a part of me that gets triggered by that, then I'm jumping to my own conclusion that there's a part of that that's the truth. Maybe I do need to get off my ass and go to work, and I don't really want to. Maybe I like to think of myself as a hard worker, and maybe I'm not really a hard worker. Maybe I'm a little bit lazy. Maybe I could do more, and I don't. And so when someone that is in the public eye as much as she is and her family is, a lot of people get triggered by what they say. And I'm just saying, you know what? There's a lot of truth to it. I don't agree with some of the business moves that she makes or things that she's involved with, but I do respect the mindset. I do respect that they have built this empire from $4,000 in child support and a $200 bank account, that they created an empire. And now that empire is being carried on. It does take work. I'm sitting here recording a podcast that I've committed to doing twice a week. That's work. It's fun work, but it's still work. I still have to show up and put in the effort. There's so much that goes into any type of business. And in order to achieve success in whatever area of life that you are trying to achieve success in, whatever that looks like for you, you're going to have to get off your ass and work. You're going to have to take some type of action. That's just how it is. Coming from someone who is a life coach and a manifesting mentor, I still have to work. I don't just sit on my couch and wait for the shit to land in my lap. I have to take aligned action. So just food for thought as you listen to the podcast, food for thought as you're watching the interview, food for thought as you're listening to my opinion about it. Leave me your comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know if any of that triggered you. Let me know if you agree with me. Let me know if you don't agree with me. I want to hear it all. Okay? So, thank you guys for being here. And have an amazing, amazing rest of your day. I'll talk to you guys soon.